Hey y'all, this is Jeff with KC Mobility Scooter Rentals, or if you follow me on YouTube, Mobility Rental Startup. Today's video, I want to talk about how plans change. So, I always expected my business to grow. Ever since I started. Of course, I had 3 scooters back then, and now I have 15. And my goal is 25. And during that time, as I transitioned from, a certain number of scooters to a much larger number, I have to plan on how do I, expect to store these scooters? How do I expect to transport these scooters? The storing part, because I was paying $125 for a 10x10 storage locker, and I quickly ran out of room. So I just bought a 20x12 kind of tarp covered carport, I guess would probably be the best way to describe it. And I use that to store everything for my business. Now the next phase is I'm starting to get a lot more convention calls. I'm starting to be booked out a lot more. It's not just 2 or 3 scooters anymore. A lot of times each week it's 5, 6, 7, 8 scooters. And because of that, it requires me to use a trailer. Now, like I said, I have no issue using my open trailer, during most of the year. But during the winter time, it rains a lot, it snows a lot, it's cold. And the last thing I would really want is for my scooters to get wet, really wet. Like right now, it's a little damp out, but nothing that will hurt my scooters. The seats, will repel, the water. Plus, I have time to dry off before my next appointments. But, when it's really coming down, how do I safely transport my scooters? So, the original plan was I was just going to buy a box truck, like a 10-foot, 12-foot box truck, and use that. So, this weekend, the 27th specifically, I dropped off a lot of my scooters just before Thanksgiving, just so, I could have that time with my family. For me, after 20 years in the Army, work-life balance is huge. So if I could get all my scooters delivered, a couple days early if need be, and be able to put my family first, since they supported me for the 2 decades of active duty Army, I do that. The only time that I'll leave is if I get a phone call about something, a scooter breaking down, or an emergency situation where some of my friends at the hotels will call and be like, hey Jeff, sorry to bother you, but this one's kind of serious, can you help us out? Then I'll go and help out. But for the most part, I deliver my stuff and I leave it alone. So anyway, on the 27th, I had to deliver 8 scooters, which, not a big deal. I could easily fit 12 to 15 scooters on my 12-foot trailer. I use the term easily, kinda, I'm lying. It's a pain in the butt, but we can make it happen. And so, because it was raining, I was like, I'm just going to rent a box truck from U-Haul. I plan to buy a box truck anyway when I expand it, so I figured it was a good time to test what that would be like. And I'll tell you, it was horrible. I have no plans to ever buy a box truck anymore. And the reason for this is the box truck that I got, from U-Haul, which would have been a similar one to what I wanted to buy, the trucks lose a lot of floor space. Where the inside fenders, it's not flat, so you lose space there. There's a shield that goes around the fuel tank, kind of the hose that you would fill up with. That takes room up, and it was only about 6 foot wide, it seemed. It wasn't really wide, so I couldn't fully get 4 scooters across like I could on my trailer. So I tried different ways to move it around, but it just didn't work for me. Plus, it cost me like $110 for the rental, which isn't bad. If it's an emergency, I got to do it. I'll definitely consider doing it again, but I just have no desire now to buy a box truck for future use. My wife and I were talking because she was with me. She's my ride or die when it comes to my business and my crazy ideas. And she was in the same way. She's like, I don't like this idea. It's really hard to move these scooters. So she agreed with me, and so I think what the plan is I'm going to buy probably a 14-foot enclosed trailer. With this, it will essentially just give me a way to keep my scooters dry. It will give me another billboard to advertise when I'm moving the scooters around. If I expand, it actually gives me additional space to store my equipment. So I think overall the enclosed trailer is a win-win. My wife's trying to talk to me about kind of a multi-use option. Kind of like a camper / toy hauler kind of thing, where we'd still use the store, but we still have a space if we want to do vacation. Other options we're looking at is my wife's considering trading in her car, and we would get like a 15-passenger van, so you could remove seats when need be to store scooters if we need to when we're transporting them. It's just, there's a lot of options out there, but I just realized that a box truck is not one of them. I know this is an exciting topic, but as somebody who's so focused on the business and how I could grow it and benefit from it at a shoestring expense, I thought it was something worth sharing. Well, have a great night, y'all. Bye.